For sure. Alrighty, guys, let's get into our final review of the evening. It's going to be of Avatar, 2009, American epic science fiction film, directed, written, produced, and co-edited by one James Cameron, starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, Michelle Rodriguez, and Sigourney Weaver. It is set in the mid-22nd century when humans are colonizing Pandora, a lush, habitable moon of a gas giant in the Alpha Centauri star system in order to mine the valuable mineral unobtainium. The expansion of the mining colony threatens the continued existence of a local tribe of Na'vi, a humanoid species indigenous to Pandora. The film's title refers to a genetically engineered Na'vi body operated from the brain of a remotely located human that is used to interact with the natives of Pandora. Development of Avatar began in 1994 when Cameron wrote an 80-page treatment for the film. Filming was supposed to take place after the completion of Cameron's 1997 film Titanic for a planned release in 1999. However, according to Cameron, the necessary technology was not yet available to achieve his vision of the film. Work on the language of the Na'vi began in 2005, and Cameron began developing the screenplay and fictional universe in early 2006. Avatar was officially budgeted at $237 million due to a groundbreaking array of new visual effects Cameron achieved in cooperation with Weta Digital in Wellington, New Zealand. Other estimates put the cost between $280 and $310 million for production and $150 million for marketing and promotion. The film made extensive use of a new motion capture filming techniques and was released for traditional viewing, 3D viewing, and a 4D experiences in select South Korean theatres. Avatar premiered in London on December 10, 2009, and was released in the United States on December 18 to positive reviews, with critics highly praising its groundbreaking visual effects. During its theatrical run, the film broke several box office records and became the highest grossing film at the time, as well as in the United States and Canada, surpassing Cameron's Titanic, which had held those records for 12 years. Avatar remained the highest grossing film in the world for nearly a decade until it was overtaken by Avengers Endgame in 2019. But a Chinese re-release of Avatar led to the film retaking the world top spot in March 2021, where it has been ever since. That's kind of cheating.
That is cheating.
Adjusted for inflation, Avatar is the second highest grossing movie of all time after Gone with the Wind, with a total of more than $3 billion. It also became the first film to gross more than $2 billion and the best-selling video title of 2010 in the United States. Avatar was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, and won 3 for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, and Best Visual Effects. The success of the film also led to electronics manufacturers releasing 3D TVs and causing 3D films to increase in popularity. How times have changed. Following the film's success, Cameron signed with 20th Century Fox to produce 4 sequels. Avatar: The Way of Water and Avatar 3 have completed principal filming and are scheduled to be released on December 16, 2022 and December 20, 2024 respectively. Subsequent sequels are scheduled to be released on December 18, 2026 and December 22, 2028 when Ben will be in his 40s. IMDb rating, audience love this one, 7.8. Let me pause here. Take a guess at how many users have rated this movie on IMDb.
On IMDb, I don't go to
A
IMDb.
million.
400,000.
1.2 million ratings.
That doesn't
7.8.
surprise me.
Metascore of 83. What do you think that Rotten Tomatoes was, gents, way back in 2009?
95.
80?
81% certified fresh. Well done, Ben.
Hey.
Hey. There we go, guys. Avatar. It's available on Disney Plus for those who want to check it out for yourself.
Which is
Obviously, we're
weird.
reviewing this one in the lead up to the sequel, which will be releasing in less than 3 months' time.
I tried to look on Just Watch to see where it was available, and it said nowhere. So I said, oh, well, I guess I'm not watching this. And that's why I watched Private
Bloody
Life.
Just Watch. Do you have Disney Plus added to your Just Watch profile?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
I'm pretty sure I do. But double check it. Yes. Ben.
Yes.
Avatar.
Yes.
Been a while since I'd rewatched it. How fresh were you? Did you get a chance to check this one out again recently?
I did, but not because we were reviewing it tonight. I just thought to watch it a few weeks ago.
That's right. I remember we mentioned it like in Movie Actor Go or something, or Versus, and you said, you know what, I haven't seen it in a while. I'm gonna rewatch it.
Yeah, so I did. And it was fine.
Oh, Paul Moore jumps in the chat. They took it off Disney Plus. I'm stand corrected.
Yeah, because I'm
There you
on
go.
Just Watch right now, and it's not there. Thank you.
'Cause it's in
now
cinemas
we
at the
can
moment.
call it
That makes
Disney
sense.
Plus minus Avatar.
That's it. Bravo, Ben.
Thank you.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Man, I wonder how much, like, legitimately, I wonder how much money that movie has made for James Cameron.
Mm.
Yeah.
Or Sam Worthington, because he hasn't been in anything else lately.
Yeah, Sam Worthington literally just disappeared. Like, he was in the Titans movies. I think they came after Avatar. Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans.
Seen Paper Planes?
Oh, I was going to say, he was in that thing.
And he was in Hacksaw Ridge.
That's right, yeah.
But that's it. I don't think I've seen him in another thing. And then obviously he has to come back for Avatar 2 or the world will stop spinning, so he'll be in that. I haven't seen anything for it.
Jake Sully.
Yeah, so my first and really only negative point, I guess, is that Sam Worthington can't do an accent for shit.
No, he cannot.
He's still sucks.
There are so many lines that are just like completely Australian in this with Aussie accent.
Australian accent. I mean, I couldn't do any better. So why am I saying this? Except for that fact that I'm not trying to star in the biggest movie ever.
Yes.
My second point was, where's that guy been? And then we've already done that. My next point was, I think Sigourney Weaver is amazing. And I remember her being in this a lot less than she actually is. I thought she was just like a
cameo.
Like a couple of scenes. But she's in it quite significantly, and she plays a pivotal plot role. I mean, spoiler alert, everyone. But she doesn't make it. But the point is that raises the risk for when Jake needs to make the transfer or whatever. So. You know, she gives hope to the audience, all that kind of fun stuff. Stephen Lang is awesome in this.
So good, right?
His accent and the way that he delivers his lines is like, it's like Sam Worthington is as bad as he is good in that way.
Yeah. It's yin and yang completely.
When it comes to like how many quotes could you come up with from Avatar, they're all from him. Like all of the quotes from Avatar that I can come up with off the top of my head come out of Stephen Lang's mouth. There's the your real legs thing. There's the eat your eyes for jujubes thing.
Jujubes.
There's the day one thing.
Anything that squats in the mud.
There's light it up. We'll be home
And
for
that
supper
too
time, that
is
kind
a
of thing.
fact.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one's great. Masks on, or he's a mask on, and then he just hits the thing, and the gas just goes everywhere. There's that thing. Good. Everything. It's him. He just carries the film. The audio part of the film where people talk, which is a big thing for me in movies. I saw him a few years later in a horror movie called Don't Breathe.
Oh, I need to watch that.
So good. He's so good in that. He plays this blind guy. Yeah.
Except.
So he plays this blind guy who lives alone in this house in a neighborhood that's completely deserted, because it's like what's that town? What's that city in the US? That's is it Detroit? Where it's just like
Florida.
No, I think it's Detroit. Like just populations have vanished. It's like a dilapidated city now. Well, he lives in the dilapidated part of the dilapidated city. Anyways, these kids who are the main characters decide to rob the guy, and it becomes like Rorschach in The Watchmen. It's like, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me, because he's a bit of a security freak, so everything's locked down tight, and then, you know, they come in when he's asleep and they try and like tranquilize him, and then they're like, they got a rumor that he's got a safe, and they're trying to find the safe and get the money and all that kind of stuff, and then they fuck up because they didn't tranquilize him enough, and he's around the house and he's blind, and they're like, holy fuck, we have to like stand still and don't breathe while this blind crazy man tries to kill us, and it's just super scary. And there's like two more twists. I didn't really reveal anything, but there's like, the movie just goes in this direction. It's a crazy movie, and he's in it, and he's great. Anyway, he's also in Avatar, and I thought it stood up. Like the number one question for Avatar is like, does it still look great? Does that revolutionary new Weta Digital way of doing things still look good? Like, what is it, like 12 years later or whatever? 13 years later. And I thought it did. I thought that it has changed a little, in the sense that it doesn't look like in 2009 you would watch it, you could be like, it is so real. It's like I'm there on the planet or whatever. I think it's changed its tune a little bit to feel more like it's an art style. I know that that water isn't there, but I'm going to believe it is anyway because of the artistic way that they've decided to draw it. If that makes sense, it doesn't really make
Right.
sense when you consider the fact that the animation and the in-camera stuff are supposed to be composite, like they're together. You've got real people and real props and real sets, and then you've got crazy blue aliens and crazy animals that the physics is maybe a little bit off. That might be the other thing. But then, you know, the way that the crazy blue aliens interact with everything feels not real to me, but it's looks amazing enough that I'm just like, look at that. That's so cool how they interact with the leaves as they're falling down, and how the light just disperses off their cheeks from the little spinny doodads, and how they interact with the water, like I already said, the wind in their hair, all that stuff. It doesn't look real, but it looks really, really good. Unfortunately, I use the word really, which comes from real, but you know what I mean.
Very good.
Very, very good. The thing that maybe just doesn't look good is one scene where he bites into this big juicy fruit that doesn't exist, and
Kind of like when Padme's eating the thing in episode 2.
oh yeah, and she goes, oh, and then obviously the direction was like, don't get your lips anywhere in this because it's going to cause havoc for the CGI people. So just bite this thing like you're a wooden toy. And so there was that moment where he eats from the blue fruit thing, and he's like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, that was never in your hands, I can tell. And then a couple of the animals that I think he has to fight them off or whatever at the first night when he gets lost, which happens like minute 1. his expedition, like he fucks up immediately.
Pandora hyenas.
Yes.
At night.
Those things. When he has to fight them off, I was just a little bit like, they're not there. But other than that, I thought it looked really nice.
There's one shot where like it goes into slow-mo when he's got the flame on the end of his stick that he's made, and like they get really close to the snarling Pandora hyena. For me, man, that looks insanely good. Like again, like it's not real, but it's like, look at the gums, man. I don't know. I feel like if not for the fact that it was all leather and had 6 legs, I might believe that this is a thing.
To me, it was that they don't feel heavy, that they move wrong or something.
Yeah.
Like they're animated fine, but it's just the same as the fruit thing. He's biting into something. There's no feedback in his face. It doesn't have any gravity to it. It doesn't feel like it's really got mass. And the way that these things move around, they're rubbery, and it doesn't feel like they're really there.
Yeah.
When they're not moving, they look amazing. Everything does when it's not moving in this film. What else to say about Avatar? I hope Zoe Saldana is in the next one. I mean, she has to be in the next one, right? Like,
yeah, it has to be. Yeah,
I don't
100%.
think that Avatar 2 is a project that would just replace an actress.
No.
And just do that, I don't think they'll do that.
You got obviously Jake and Neytiri survive. You don't have oh my god, Champanosaurus Rex rating with the party 6. Hello. Welcome on in. We are revisiting the 2009 science fiction epic Avatar, and we're just talking about the sequel because the sequel comes out in December. We expect Jake Sully back. We expect Neytiri back.
Did you say they signed 4 sequels?
Yes, 4 sequels. 2022, 24, 26, and 28, Ben.
Yeah,
Look forward to it.
That's nuts.
Interesting.
Ozbuff Fanatic, ironically, never watched Avatar. Well, tread carefully if you want to avoid spoilers for a 13-year-old movie, because we're going to be diving into spoilers. I should put the spoiler warning up just because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Thank you for the follow, Oz. Any more thoughts, Ben?
I'm almost spent. I mean, there's better James Avatar movies out there than this, but this one certainly is. I mean, a spectacle is what it really is. It's just like a great thing to watch. Of course, it's not really like a movie you watch for the story. It's a story that's been told 100 times, and you can tell exactly where it's leading the whole the whole way. Like you're not
Yeah.
going to be surprised. You're not going to be overrun with some sort of emotion. It's just a guy that's stuck between a rock and a hard place and he doesn't know what to do. So instead, he does nothing until it's almost too late. And then,
Yeah. Sorry, but I just need to correct you. That's not a rock and a hard place. It's unobtainium in a hard place. That's
what?
yeah.
Man, they should have come up with any name but that. They should have called it Expensivium or something. But unobtainium is the silliest word I remember when I was in the cinema and I heard that. I guffawed out loud. I barely laughed.
Ben, not that it matters, but don't bother to rush it. Don't miss it.
Oh, I don't know. It's 13 years old. If you haven't watched it by now,
rush.
don't rush.
Yeah.
Don't,
If you haven't watched one now, don't bother. It's too late. Jason, before I throw it to you, I just need to read out some more Colonel Quaritch quotes, just because Ben brought it up, and there are some pearlers that he's so good, Ben. To your point, he's just so good that I read the line and I hear it exactly the way he said it, and that's the hallmark of a fantastic delivery. Shut your par hole, or what, Ranger Rick? You gonna shoot me? I can do that. And then the other one was a recon gyrene in an avatar body. That's a potent mix. Gives me the goosebumps.
Yeah.
So good. Anyway, Mr. Mira, over to you.
Oh, so I haven't seen this movie since it first came out back in 1866. You know, so I don't really have a lot to add other than some of my fond memories. Have you guys seen this in IMAX at all?
I have not. No, I wish I did. I saw it twice in 3D, once in 2D, just because I was curious what the non-3D experience was like way back when.
It was the first movie where, how many times have you watched Avatar? Like, how many times have you watched this movie in the cinemas? Was a normal thing to talk about amongst regular people, like not just
100%.
Not just avid movie lovers, but like people just at school were talking like, oh, I've watched it twice, I'm going to watch it in 3D again on the weekend or whatever.
I wonder what, in 1997, were Titanic viewers, adults, saying that? Was that a thing, Because like 100%, like multiple viewings of Avatar contributed to its enormous success, $2 billion, highest grossing film of all time at the time. So, I'm wondering if it happened with Titanic, or Gone with the Wind for that matter. People way back then.
Well, nothing else to do back then.
I was about to say that was probably the only movie at that theatre that they had in the town. Yeah. Anyway, so, Jason, yes.
IMAX is the way that I originally watched this film. It was one of the very first IMAX films that I have ever watched. And so I distinctly remember being really excited about watching it. And I sat down and I was like, holy moly, it was an exercise to watch. Because I don't know if you've ever been to IMAX, but you're basically sitting there and you're doing this.
Doing this the whole time, yeah.
It's like
I wish I had more peripheral vision.
Yeah, it's like you're watching a tennis film, or tennis match. Sorry,
tennis match.
And you're doing this all the time. So it's like, I don't know if it was the most ideal thing to watch in IMAX. It was very impressive. Definitely would like to go see like a nature documentary, so you can go, oh my god, look at this, the rain, whatever. So yeah, that was funny. I remember watching it and being really hyped for it, but then walking out of it going, oh, okay, that was an action film. Well, that was an action adventure film, or whatever. So I remember that feeling. So I think because of that, I'm not one of those people who went back to watch it over and over and over again. In saying that though, I am open to watching it again now, and I just haven't had the chance to go watch it before tonight's episode, because I mean, it'd be really interesting to watch with a new, I guess, perspective of how cinema is now, what special effects look like now, especially after watching the spectacle of all the Marvel films, and then like seeing what this is like, leading the charge back in 2009, so definitely interested in that. Can't comment enough about the design of the ship designs. They just look like they're straight from Halo.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
And Michelle Rodriguez is a badass all the time.
Doing a badass thing.
A badass thing, yeah. So Sam Worthington probably wasn't the best choice. I think when he was cast, it was like as his career was starting to like do this, and I think people were expecting him to do what Hugh Jackman did and just keep doing this, but he kind of just did this and kind of just, and then he did a film called Paper Planes.
I don't know. I don't know if they would have like made $2 billion if they got someone better than him. I mean, like how bad, how much better could he have been? But I totally agree. Like he was just a mess. Like he's a wet.
And now they're stuck
wet
with him.
paper bag. Yeah, and now they're stuck with him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So 5 films.
He can pretty much ask whatever he wants. And he'll get it. You know.
He's cheering.
Oh yeah, to be his agent, right?
Oh yeah. I remember. I remember to quote something about when they're about to attack the tree.
I want this high and tight. I want to be home for dinner.
Yeah, and he says like, "This is Papa Dragon."
Papa Dragon.
Papa Dragon. I want this mission high and tight.
I want to be home for dinner.
So good.
So Shane.
Oh, what say you, Jason?
Oh yeah, don't rush. You know.
No, don't rush. Oh, jeez, okay.
I mean, like it's a film that's been out. Like if you haven't seen it by now, then you're not rushing to go see it. So
that's a good point.
Don't rush.
I love Avatar. I think it's fantastic. I'm so pumped for the sequel and the subsequent sequels. Someone clip that. I'm sure I'll regret it in a few years' time. But then again, how often has James Cameron steered us wrong? You know, it's always that thing where James Cameron movies out, people naysay, and you're just left embarrassed for ever doubting that he might not deliver, sort of thing. Yeah. So I fingers crossed that that's the case again for the sequel coming up. I think visually, cinematically, this film holds up tremendously well. I think if you put a close-up of Neytiri or Jake Sully or Sigourney Weaver's character, or Dr. Augustine, up against anything that we've seen in the MCU, then I think it definitely holds a candle, if not might be better. There are so many like insanely detailed shots in this that I can't believe still stand up today. It's pretty remarkable. I think that just needs to be commended 13 years later. And I can't wait to see what I have been in cinemas when the Avatar sequel trailers have played. Thankfully, there's no VO. It's all just music to what I'm told are very beautiful shots, and I just put my head down or I leave the cinema. So I've heard this music, but I don't know how gorgeous it's going to look, and I cannot wait to hopefully have not seen anything and be in the cinema in my favorite VMAX and be blown away for the second time. A couple of small gripes with this film that I remember feeling like back in 2009 even, that just are just a bit more painful on a rewatch, and that is that moment where Dr. Augustine is first introduced to Jake Sully's character, and she's frustrated by the fact that she doesn't have his scientist brother Tommy here, and so she goes to confront Giovanni Ribisi's character about how this is bullshit. I'm just like, your character is so much smarter than this. Like, you understand the reality of the fact that Tommy's dead, and you are very lucky to have someone who can still drive this multi-million-dollar avatar body. Why on earth are you complaining? Yes, it's not ideal, but she's just like, oh, this is bullshit. Like, they just want to like oversee us and that sort of thing. And like, he's no help or no value whatsoever. Completely untrue. And all it's there to do is for then Giovanni Ribisi's character to explain that very simple to understand fact. And then we get the whole, arc with Unobtainium as well. So I thought that was a bit annoying.
It's one of those points where the answer is because then the movie couldn't happen, which is a terrible answer to give.
Yeah.
Why did you do it this way or whatever? Why would the character do this?
100%.
And in this case, it's just because we need to establish the scientists versus the corporates struggle, and we need to understand he just gets a free invitation to do some exposition. So Giovanni Ribisi's character just goes into the Unobtainium thing, and this is why we're here. And it's like, you really don't think that she knows why you're all here? Like,
exactly. How her science project is being funded. Yeah. Interestingly, I watched the so I have the Blu-ray, and there's the theatrical, the extended, and then the collector's edition special extra 12 minutes of footage version. There's about 4 more minutes roughly of backstory of Jake Sully at the very beginning when he's on Earth, and it shows more of just like Earth in the 22nd century, very cyberpunk actually. Shows a bit more background of his core character beliefs, in the sense that he's at a bar, he sees like a couple bickering, the male partner physically abuses the female partner, and even though he's in a wheelchair, he gets up and like stands up for her, sort of thing. So I suppose explaining a bit more of his character, obviously not vital. And then there's actually an interesting sort of difference to so Tsute, the Neytiri's are supposed to be sort of partnered lover, like arranged marriage sort of thing, like the warrior dude that doesn't really take to Jake Sully. In the theatrical run, when he jumps off his little pet dragon and takes out the guys in the back of one of the gunships, he's gunned down and his body just falls to the forest floor of Pandora, and we assume that he dies. In this collector's run, you see him like tumble through the trees, but he's not completely dead. And then once that final conflict ends, Jake and Neytiri and a couple of the other Na'vi find him, and to have like an honorable warrior's death or something like that, or to pass the torch to the next leader of the Na'vi people of that tribe, Jake Sully's character has to kill Tsute in the same way that he might take the life of any other living creature on Pandora. So interesting that was cut out from the theatrical run. I suppose what else is there to say about this movie? I think it holds up tremendously well. I always just go back to the world building of Avatar. I think I've mentioned this before if we discuss a movie like Dune as well. I think there are like a couple of films from the past 2 decades that stand out as just insanely good world building. For me, it's Dune, it's Mad Max Fury Road, it's Avatar, Looper, Inception. They're the ones that kind of jump out at me as just like world-class world building, sci-fi worlds, explaining the rules of your world so very, very well, and making me believe that this feels like a real world that could exist someday, of thing. So
I'm still waiting to get the answer to the question of what happens when the two tails touch each other. What happens if you get that going?
It's called docking, Ben. It's called docking.
Right. Docking. I get hooked up in the emotion in this as well. There's one great moment where like it almost brings me to tears, and that is when Neytiri's mother, Jake Sully, and Augustine are like strung up under Home Tree, just as they're being attacked by humans, and she's coming at him like tears pouring down her eyes, sort of like ashen face because of all the dust and that sort of thing and debris, and she's got a knife, and obviously the film is trying to sort of tempt you into thinking that maybe she's there to kill Jake, but she says, if you're one of us, help us. And she does it while she's crying, and like it's just the way it's delivered gets me every time. I start to well up. I really, really like that moment.
Shane, there's a movie that I want you to watch. It's called The Card Counter.
Okay.
It's Oscar Isaac. Who cares? It's Oscar Isaac.
You've sold me. Just quickly, don't miss it from me.
It's don't miss it. Great.
I'm looking
if you don't miss it, someone don't rush.
Interesting.
How long ago, Ben? When was this Card Counter?
It recently went to the cinemas and came through to the streaming.
Okay.
It's currently the iTunes movie of the week, so you can rent it for $1.
Oh, nice.
And I did that the other day and watched it. And you said something about what about that scene, and it reminded me of the penultimate, like the crescendo scene of this movie. It's so good, and fun, and I wish it on all of you. I wish you could see it.
Yeah, it's streaming on Amazon Prime.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even have to pay.
Let's add it to the list. Let's add it to the list for sure.
I've seen that before. I've seen, iTunes is heavily discounting this movie, and then I look it up and I'm like, oh, I see, because it's streaming on Amazon. They know their market.
They do. They'll get it.
Anything else to say on Avatar, guys? I'm just trying to think of like my favorite moments and that sort of thing. I love the like the regalia, or the warrior stuff that they wear in the final battle as well. I love all that, just like the way they all get dressed. Yeah. Oh, so cool, man. So cool.
I keep trying to make fun of it, like with how people aren't impressed with Jake until he shows up with the big car. You know, he gets the expensive ride, and then people will pay attention to him.
Oh, right,
It's doing
yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Becomes
that's
Taruk Maktal. Yeah.
that's a cheap excuse for what they've done with that part of the film.
Yeah.
I had a look at the deleted scene that you were mentioning just on YouTube just then.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
What a
Bit.
multitasker we got here.
I know, yeah, it's my ADE. It's something I noticed that people walking down the street when at the opening of that, they're all wearing masks. And I thought, wow.
Oh, the Cyberpunk, yeah.
Yeah, but
The-
they're
yeah,
all
like-
wearing like face masks.
Streets of Earth, yeah.
Yeah.
I noted that as well. It's like 50% of the characters in that shot are wearing masks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's
Yeah.
what a prediction.
Probably
James
for different
Cameron.
reasons. Probably a smog reference, right? Instead of-
Yeah,
probably.
pollution, I guess.
Probably.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's Avatar. We will be reviewing the sequel in just a few months, but if you'd like to check it out, it's not on Disney Plus right now, so too bad. You have to rent it or watch it in the cinemas because apparently it's having another theatrical run, probably pushing to $3 billion at this point.
I'll go into a secondhand DVD store. Chances are it's probably there for like 50 cents.
Yeah, I got my
That's
copy
true.
for $5
That's
on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There you go.
It's the most.
Honestly, I
resold-
might need to buy that 4K. Is it 4K available?
I'm
Sure.
on it.
Oh, yeah, it has to be. There's definitely been a
Yeah.
4K re-release. I remember the black artwork. But I remember I went through a phase of buying up Blu-rays for cheap, and the number one movie that every person in their Blu-ray collection has is Avatar when they're offloading their collection. Because they got to
Which
move or for whatever reason.
Which is
Yeah.
like when everyone had a DVD player, I knew that everyone had The Matrix.
Yes,
Mm.
that was it. The Matrix.
Gotta
was
watch
on
that.
Everyone's
480p
VHS
goodness.
and DVD. You know what? I first saw The Matrix at home on VHS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Thanks, Paul Moore. I knew I saw it like cheap somewhere.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Sounds good.